Comments for the week ending March 12th from the Beef Farmers of Ontario. There were 472 head of fed steers and heifers sold through auction markets last week, steady with the previous week. Fed steers averaged $313.87 per hundredweight, down $104 per hundred, and fed heifers averaged $309.52 per hundredweight, up $115 per hundred from the previous week's trade. Auction markets reported on Tuesday that fed steers and heifers sold actively at strong prices. By Thursday, fed steers and heifers sold $2 to $3 per hundredweight easier. In Ontario, packers have pulled their bids with no sales to speak of. For the week ending February 28th, Eastern fed cattle and cow exports to the U.S. were 4,304 head, 4% below last year and 38% above the 5-year average. Year-to-date, Eastern fed cattle and cow exports were up 5% from last year. Cull cow receipts sold through auction markets last week were 2,043 head, down 111 head from the previous week. Cows averaged $186.83 per hundredweight, up $9.18 per hundred. Beef cows averaged $201.16 per hundredweight, up $6.29 per hundred from the previous week's trade. Auction markets reported the fed cows sold stronger. Total receipts were 8,081 head last week, with receipts of 3,867 stocker and feeder cattle selling through Ontario auction markets, up 989 head from the previous week. Auction markets reported on Friday, March 6th, that calves and yearlings sold steady. By Thursday, all classes sold fully steady to stronger. The Quebec electronic market last week sold a $5.31 per hundredweight dressed on a picked-up basis. Last week, Alberta fed steer and heifer prices closed the week at $3.21 per hundredweight and $3.19 per hundredweight respectively, $1.00 stronger than the previous week. Dressed sales were reported from $5.35 to $5.39 per hundredweight delivered, $4 to $5 per hundredweight stronger. Cattle that traded were being scheduled anywhere from immediate to early April delivery. By Wednesday, March 11th, light trade developed with dress sales reported at $5.38 per hundredweight, steady to $1.00 lower than the previous week. For the week ending March 7th, Western Canadian fed processing was 35,275 head. Year-to-date processing is 1.6% lower than last year. The Alberta cash to futures basis is minus 467, the strongest basis for the year and the strongest for this week since 2020. The U.S. cash cattle trade last week saw dress sales in Iowa and Nebraska reported at $3.72 per hundredweight, while live sales were at $2.35 per hundredweight. Dress sales were $8 per hundredweight lower than the previous week, while live sales were down $5 a hundred. Sales in Texas and Kansas were from $2.35 to $2.36 per hundredweight, $4 to $5 per hundredweight lower. Not only has volatility on the futures market elevated, but the same can be said for packer margins. Around a month ago, packer margins were estimated to be around $400 per head negative, whereas now margins are break-even levels. Improved margins have come from lower cattle prices and higher wholesale beef prices. There have been reports union workers at the JBS slaughter plant in Greeley, Colorado have started to strike this morning. This is Jamie Kerr with the Beef Farmers of Ontario Market Information Report.